Good evening and welcome to Trending Tonight. I am Sanket Upadhyay. We are broadcasting live from the Safdarjung Hospital in New Delhi. This is a hospital which has seen doctors protesting. Now imagine, this is a scary sight. If you look at the COVID numbers and the way they are rising, the last thing that one wants right now is for resident doctors, the backbone of any hospital, to go on a strike. They say they have their reasons. They say that they have been requesting the government on a number of occasions over inducting more junior doctors. All they want is that a matter of process be expedited, which has already been delayed, which is getting in about 45,000 to 50,000 junior doctors as additional hands on the deck as we fight the fight against COVID-19. That decision has not been taken. There is a grand amount of granular technicality why that is not happening, and we'll get to that through the course of this discussion. What are the reasons why the resident doctors, despite an assurance and a meeting with the health minister, have decided to continue on with their strike after the 12th day of protests? And where is this headed, given the fact that now a third wave is inevitable? We are going to put this through a discussion by first introducing all the resident doctors who are gathered right here. Dr. Manish is the president of the Federation of Resident Doctors in Safdarjung Hospital. Dr. Anuj is the secretary of RDA with us. Dr. Manik, president of RDA. Thank you very much for joining us. Dr. Sarvesh, you are the general secretary of the RDA at RML. Thank you very much for joining us. Dr. Kulsaurabh Kaushik, general secretary of this Resident Doctors Association. Dr. Ridhima Kaul is a resident doctor herself. Dr. Vinay Kumar, a resident doctor. Dr. Prerit Vashane, Dr. Naveen Sagar, Dr. Prageet, as well as Dr. Sunita. Thank you all for joining us. We also have Mr. PKD Nambiar. He's a BJP supporter and a political analyst. Alok Vats, a BJP leader, as well as Dr. Rajesh Parikh, director, who's now with us. Thank you very much, all of you, for joining us. We'll begin with the resident doctors first. Manish, you went and met the health minister. He made certain assurances. One was assuming that this assurance is enough for you to call off your strike, but you did not. Why?
Yesterday, our resident doctors were brutally beaten by the police, and they had abused us also. And they haven't even apologized, nor any action has been taken against them. In fact, an FIR has been lodged against our resident doctors, stating that we destroyed the public property, etc., etc. So we have decided that if till the FIR is being withdrawn and a public written apology is not not given by the police, till then we are not going to call off our strike.
But I just want to understand, Dr. Anuj, is the main concern of the resident doctors the fact that 45 to 50,000 junior doctors have not been counselled, or now the main demand has become action against the police? What is the main demand?
No, both the demands are still sustaining. And
no, because critics would argue that this is a shifting of goalpost by the resident doctors. How would you respond to this?
Shifting of the goalpost.
So the basic thing is that the Honorable Health Minister has been making verbal assurances since a long time, and there was a kind of loss of credibility because whatever he told us, nothing came in picture in reality. So today itself he made two assurances, and he also told that he regret whatever the actions were taken by the police, and he condemns that. And by the evening, when we came back to the hospital, we saw that the action that has been taken by police, that is in contradiction to whatever the statement given by health minister.
Sure.
The police is going to take action against us. They have filed few FIRs, and they are just saying that which is completely wrong, and it is completely baseless because we have video recordings of everything. Police is allegedly saying that we initiated all these violence, which is completely wrong. So these assurances, again, that were made by Honorable Health Minister today are somehow proving to be very shallow and hollow to the resident doctors.
So you are saying that what the health minister assured versus what the police seems to be initiating right now are divergent.
Exactly.
And that is why you suspect the government's intentions. Dr. Manik, I want to come to you now. Now, this is police action or inaction on one side. The larger issue of carrying out counseling of NEET PG members. I'm sure you must have heard from the government that there is a technicality involved here. This is, the government says, not a decision for them to take. It is a decision for the Supreme Court to take. Are we to assume that the doctors are going to be on strike till the next date of hearing in the Supreme Court, which is the 6th of January? That's an awful lot of trouble for patients.
See, we are having this strike only for patient care only. Third wave is knocking our doors, and we don't have adequate manpower for tackling the third wave. So from the government side, we wanted that their own procedural things are quickened. That from their side there is no delay in Supreme Court. That their papers and everything, from their side, if they could have quickened the process of submitting the CWS criteria, and the process would have started in the Supreme Court. So it's not like that matter is sub judice, but from the government side also, if they could have quickened the process, but they did not, and they have been giving us this assurances from 27 November that we will submit the report in 1 week.
For instance, what can the government do in these circumstances? For instance, the health minister said, we'll present an affidavit in the Supreme Court, and then eventually the decision is of the Supreme Court. So short of that, what can the government do? What more can the government do?
This is what we wanted from the government, na?
Right from the word go.
Right from 27, right from the date protest started, we wanted the government to submit its report and everything be prepared in the Supreme Court, so that in Supreme Court,
which the government did not do, and they were dragging their feet.
We gave them adequate time, 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, now 4 weeks are gone. On their verbal assurances only in good faith that they will quicken the process.
Sure. Dr. Kulsarap, now I want to ask you this question. You see, while all of this is playing out, right, your fight for justice, your demands, police action, as a doctor, does it not upset you that patients are suffering? This is the 10th or the 11th straight day where patients are suffering. And each day, as this strike goes on, patients will suffer. More so when you've got the R0 and the doubling of cases of COVID happening very, very rapidly and quickly.
Sir, we have been stating it very straightforward that we are not hampering any kind of health services. We have just withdrawn the residents, doctors doing the health services.
But that's the backbone of any hospital.
So that is the main point. The government should have taken this thing into consideration. If residents are the backbone, then they shouldn't have been 2/3 of the force since last 6 months. We also understand, if government also understands this, that resident form the backbone, this process, this strike shouldn't have been, we shouldn't have been rendered up into this situation, that we should have done this kind of strike. Okay. So keeping this thing into mind that Omicron is just impeding, just coming and approaching the doors. So this is very much necessary that we complete the workforce that has to be there to fight such kind of upcoming pandemic. And regarding the healthcare services, there are adequate number of consultants in all the big hospitals and the medical colleges who are in adequate number to take care of healthcare services, and we have been staying.
How do you respond to criticism that this is almost healthcare blackmail by resident doctors?
No, it is not a kind of blackmail. It is just standing for a cause good for the residents as well as for the society. This is not the fight for the resident doctors, just the resident doctors. It is a fight of the society, because if we are not in adequate number, by anyhow we cannot perform our duties. If we are not if a person, if as a resident doctor is working for 36 hours, then the duty gets extended to 48 hours and maybe more. Then he works in inadequate capacity. So keeping all this thing into mind, this kind of stand is.
So you're saying, Dr. Kaul, would you concur that you can't stretch the resident doctors like mozzarella cheese? Keep stretching them beyond. How do you draw a balance, right? Because I'm looking for. If we were to look for a solution, there has to be a solution. I mean, the thought of hospitals not having doctors till the 6th of January is haunting. It's dangerous. So what, according to you, is the solution?
So like Saurabh sir also said, we have only withdrawn the resident doctors from the health services. The faculty is still functioning there. So the health services is run by faculty by all the medical colleges pan-India. And it is very important for the common masses to understand that this is directly going to affect the public only if those doctors are or not admitted on time. If you well remember that during the previous waves also, there was a proposal of stepping up the MBBS doctors because we were so much deficient of the healthcare workers. And now they are okay with not admitting the 45,000 unclaimed posts in the healthcare system. So if you have a third wave coming up and you still do not foresee it that this is going to create a big problem, then it will really be a problem for the common public.
Yeah.
I want to say one thing. We are at war with Omicron, against Omicron virus. How will we win this war when our 45,000 soldiers are sitting at home?
Well
How will we win this
Well
war?
said. Let me ask this question of Mr. Alok Vats, PKD Nambiar, as well as Dr. Parikh. Alok Vats, you go first. You've heard all the resident doctors here. I'll be speaking to more as we go along. What is your solution? The purpose of this debate is to not finger point, but to look for a solution. It's a very scary proposition if doctors don't resume duty.
Sanket, this is the time when all countries are pulling all stops to prepare their health infrastructure and support the oncoming Omicron onslaught. And here we are totally decided. See, they have met the minister. I understand their pain. I understand their grief. I understand their demand is justified. But not at the cost of the public life. You see, they are saying the hospitals are running, there are consultants, but all hospitals, the backbone of the hospital services are the resident doctors. And they are missing. So people are totally paralyzed. The whole system has all these hospitals in Delhi at
No,
least
Mr. Vats,
that are
my only submission here is, short of does the government does not have any provision under the law, any provision to come up with a solution.
Well,
From the way we
already-
know it, there are various
only
provisions
the-
available.
only the-
Many of them being
only-
suggested by the doctors. I can speak to them
Already
if you want.
Already the minister has told them that on 6th he will put papers.
Okay. Let me
to make
one
things
moment.
easy.
Some resident doctors want to reply to you. Yes.
Okay.
On 27th of November, when we started our protest, in the very first meeting, the minister himself told that we will be approaching the court and we will submit an application for early hearing. And he has been telling this in successive meetings. We had 4 rounds of meeting with
So
him.
the minister assured you that they will press for an early hearing in the Supreme Court.
4 times he assured us that he will be
And that has obviously not happened so far.
not happened so. So there was always a way, but the government didn't show any interest.
But the
in-
courts are on vacation right now.
But he said that vacation bench is also there to listen.
Yes, it is, correct.
Yeah. So it's the complete failure of the government. That now the health system is completely collapsed right now. Your resident doctors are on the street and 45,000 doctors are at home. I don't know who is going to run the hospital, whether they are going to appoint police or engineers to run the hospital to treat the patients, or who is going to patient. The minister himself knows.
Okay. I want to know from you, what if the government, and you know that this is a provision called the Essential Service Maintenance Act, ESMA. Now, if that is pressed into service, will you have an option to protest? I mean, then as resident doctors, you have to then come and serve the people.
We know our rights, and if the right is not served, then we will go further and further. Like, we will continue the strike till then our right is not given to us.
I would like to answer.
Yeah, sure.
See, ESMA and all these acts are, Emergency Services Maintenance Act. So if you use this act to suppress the rightful voice of a doctor, so that these protests are, you will silence so these protests using ESMA. So I think it will backfire. It will backfire on the government, because you were felicitating us with flowers, COVID warriors and whatnot. And many of our colleagues gave their lives, and many of their families gave their because of their contact. And after all this, you will serve them with ESMA. I don't know. It's if
You're
it's
saying it's not a desirable option for the government to explore. Mr. Yeah.
Also, I think the people should also look into it that it was not a first step to shut down whole of the services at once. We have escalated in a phase manner, and on 27th of November we started with just OPD shutdown. Then we further escalated to elective services, and we were only given verbal assurances, and those were for delinking of the case, early hearing, and the vacation just started like a week ago.
I'm going to come to you. What's your opinion?
Regarding this ESMA,
Yes.
like Manik sir has already told, this whole everything government has initially begin with the all the good things. The doctor has done many good things, and even our senior faculties, respected our teachers, they all lost their lives. And after all these things, if government is responding through this ESMA, then it's
Well, they haven't so far. We're just discussing a possibility. They haven't.
It's a shameful thing if the government has doing through or acting through the most cream society of this country, and they are already in the street.
Okay.
And if they are behaving like farmers, then it's a bad thing.
Okay. PKD Nambiar, how would you respond? You've heard what doctors say, that you felicitate them with flowers, rose, thali, diya, all these things are good. But here is where, in order to strengthen the fight against COVID-19, a voice, by the way, the demand that they're raising is a matter of procedure. Do you think that it serves well on a government to let this linger on? And what are the options that can be explored right now?
Correct.
Solution seeking, not blame.
Sanket, I am with the doctors. I think they are genuinely right on their side that it needs to be expedited. There is no doubt. I think the doctors are the people who are lifesavers. They are like gods, and they generally don't get onto the street unless and until if they have been pushed to. So I am with the doctors, but in the meantime, we also need to understand that the government, especially the minister, has been very, very forthcoming to resolve this issue. But it's only just a matter of sub judice decision in the apex court, and the government can't do much. In fact, if you really
No, as you just heard, Dr. Manish, you are saying that the minister was quick to respond, but Dr. Manish says that so far doctors have only got assurances.
No,
They've not got anything concrete.
Today, when the doctor leaders had met the ministers, he apologized even for a police action. What else you can expect from a minister? He said,
No, he expressed regret, not apologize. I have these doctors right here who met the minister, by the way. The delegation was led by Dr. Manish, who's right here. Did he apologize or did he express regret?
Only regret.
Okay.
I think in an Indian
PKD
Express,
Nambiar.
in an Indian Express article, I read that it is the minister said if there is something untoward that had happened from the police side, I apologize.
No, I've got the doctor who met.
I'm sure.
I've got a resident doctor who just met.
You can go through his interview which he had given to which ANI. His interview is there. You can go through it.
No, one moment, Mr. PKD Nambiar. The thing is that he, in an interview after this meeting, also expressed. He said, "हमें खेद है." Okay. अगर हुआ हो. Anyway, so the point here is, Dr. Parikh, Dr. Rajesh Parikh, I want to come to you now. See, again, the intention over here is not to apportion blame.
Sanket,
The intention over here is to look at a solution. Dr. Parikh, do you feel that the resident doctors
I
are
need 10 seconds.
right in their demand?
Absolutely. They're completely
No,
right in
Dr.
their
Parikh
demand.
first, please.
But
Yes.
Sanket, yes, they're absolutely right in their demand. But Sanket, you've repeatedly been saying, and rightly so, that our focus is on a solution and not on the problem. But in order to arrive at a just solution, we have to understand the problem a bit. Without that understanding, there cannot be an acceptable solution. So first of all, what puzzles me is repeatedly we are hearing words from you, from politicians, saying that these young residents are the backbone of the system. Well, if you want to stretch that metaphor, you don't lathi charge your backbone. If you start beating your backbone with lathis, the entire body collapses.
Well said. You don't
So they're
lathi charge the
justified-
backbone.
You don't
Interesting
lathi charge the
comment,
backbone.
yeah.
But this may not be the best metaphor. What they actually are, they are the front line of the front line. These young people were sent at tremendous danger to their own lives and those of their families with thalis and diyas and roses, and they've fought bravely for the last 2 years. And the last thing they deserve is a lathi charge. I am appalled and beyond disgusted with the images that I saw. 4 policemen, male policemen, carrying a woman doctor unarmed by her limbs to throw her into a bus. This is unacceptable in even the most barbaric of societies. They certainly deserve an apology for that. And then, Sanket, to understand the problem.
So you join the resident doctors in condemning police action, Dr. Parikh?
Unquestionably, I mean, which civilized human being is going to condone that? But, Sanket, let me also point out one thing, and then I'm going to propose a solution. The pandemic was not a deterrent to hold the Kumbh Mela. The pandemic was not a deterrent and is not even today a deterrent to hold massive political rallies. But it suddenly became a deterrent to hold simple counseling sessions with these young people who were full of idealism. I hope they're able to still retain their idealism in serving the country. And so there is a lot of things which have gone wrong. But coming to the solution now,
important interventions being made. So, very quickly.
My quick solution to the residents is, we have to be above all this. Okay, your Hippocratic oath, the work that you have done is way above this. My request to you is, please return to work. I'm not sure if you're happy to hear that. Let's get back to work. We're all working, and history will vindicate us. Please remember that at the height of the independence struggle, the father of the nation, Gandhiji, suspended his satyagraha because of World War II. So when the country was in war, we suspended our independence struggle. I know you guys hate being lectured.
Sure.
But
I think that's an important message for the resident doctors. I'll have that communicated also. By the way, the Karnataka, I want to tell resident doctors here, the Karnataka, and we'll put these visuals, the Karnataka Resident Doctors Association is holding a candlelight vigil in support of the resident doctors who are protesting over here. Let me quickly get a few comments here. Yes, Dr. Prerit, what would you like to say?
I just want to say, if we are working with our 2/3 of force, instead of 100 doctors, if we are working with 66 doctors, then definitely it's a loss for the society, and government should kindly consider this matter as quickly as possible to strengthen the backbone.
Sure. What about?
It's a request from the government that kindly expedite the counselling pattern.
Yeah.
Because there is almost 8-month delay in the counselling only. So it's a request only.
Sure.
I mean, it's the juniors which are working totally 36 hours and 48 hours continuously. And if they've got their juniors at the right time, they might have got some relief. But for the last 2 years, they're continuously working these long hour duties without sleep, without food. I mean, we just need government to take some solid steps and just give our juniors.
Okay. What about you? Please come. What would you like to say?
We just want to expedite the counseling schedule, and we want to get our juniors to work for the people only. That's what we are.
All right. Sorry?
We want to get the juniors to work for people, for the people, the patients only, not for us.
Okay, right. As we wrap up this broadcast, the point very clearly is this. As we are preparing for a third wave, we have to hope for the best and prepare for the worst. Look at the way cases are rising. It's imminent. We need more hands on deck. More hands on deck, and everyone's intention must be solution driven. Good night and goodbye.